Have you ever noticed the way she moves when she steps closer to you? Not the words she says, not the laughter she forces to sound casual, but the way her body instinctively leans toward you, the way her hands find yours before you even realize it. Most men completely overlook this, thinking a hug is just a hug, but the truth is far more subtle and far more powerful. When she hugs you first, she's not just being friendly, she's sending a message most men are blind to because society has taught us to ignore feelings and read actions at face value. Let me break this down for you because this is where most men fail. A hug is a language, an unspoken code, and she is speaking it before you even have a chance to respond. The first hug she gives you is like opening a door, an invitation into her private world, a subtle test to see if you recognize the signal or dismiss it as casual. She's measuring your awareness, your emotional intelligence, your ability to respond not with words, but with presence. And yet most men brush it off. They pat her back, mumble a, "Hey," and miss the fact that she just revealed her vulnerability, intentionally or not, in that brief moment. Here's the key. She doesn't hug you first because she's desperate or because she's seeking approval. She hugs you first because she trusts her instincts and she's observing yours. If a woman initiates a hug, she is psychologically evaluating your energy, your confidence, and the way you perceive her intention. Every microsecond of your reaction is being analyzed. Your eye contact, your body posture, even the pressure of your embrace. A hug is the perfect filter. It reveals a man's awareness, a man's sensitivity, and a man's ability to recognize subtle emotional signals. Most men fail this test without even knowing it. Think about the last time she hugged you first. Were you aware of the signal? Or did you treat it as a simple social gesture and move on? If you didn't recognize the nuance she noticed. Women have evolved to communicate through gestures, subtle touches, and micro moments precisely because words can be deceiving. A hug is a safe way for her to test a man without saying a single word. And if you miss it, if you ignore it, you signal something critical, that you are unaware, disconnected, or emotionally lazy. Men, let me tell you, being emotionally awake to her signals is not a soft skill. It's a power move. It separates the men who are invisible from the men who are remembered. When she hugs you first and you respond with awareness, matching her energy, holding eye contact, letting her feel the right kind of comfort, you are sending a message back that you are a man who notices, who understands, who is attuned to the unspoken codes of attraction. She doesn't just want a strong man, she wants a man who can read her without words, who can act on her signals, who can see the invisible and respond correctly. The truth most men refuse to face is this: you don't need to chase her words or manipulate her attention. You need to awaken to the signals she gives freely, and her first hug is the most telling. It's a test wrapped in intimacy, a message wrapped in warmth, and it's being given to you before most men even realize she's sending it. Most men think a hug is a harmless gesture. They think it's a moment of casual closeness, a pause in conversation, or just an excuse to show politeness. But when she hugs you first, it's anything but casual. It's a signal. And the reason so many men miss it is because they are trapped in their own assumptions. The assumption that intimacy only comes with words, only comes with obvious signs, only comes when she's officially interested. That's not how women's emotions work. She communicates through layers, subtext, and body language. And the hug is one of the most intimate, honest, and revealing layers she has. Think about this. When a woman decides to hug first, she's consciously or subconsciously taking a risk. She's showing vulnerability without saying a single word. Her subconscious is testing the waters, gauging your reaction, your confidence, your emotional awareness. She's asking, without asking, do you notice me? Do you understand me? Do you see beyond the surface? Most men fail this test because they respond the way society has programmed them, stiff, distant, or overcompensating with humor. They misread her warmth as casual friendliness, and in doing so, they completely ignore the subtle invitation she's giving. Here's what happens psychologically. When she initiates a hug, she is opening a micro window into her emotional state. Her body is sending signals: softness, trust, attraction, or sometimes uncertainty. The tension in her shoulders, the way she leans in, the length she holds the embrace. All of it communicates information. A man who isn't aware will pat her back, step away, and mentally move on, giving her a silent message that her effort to connect went unnoticed. But a man who understands, the man who sees the signals, mirrors the energy, and responds with subtle intensity, he signals back something far more powerful than words ever could: I see you. I get you. I respect this vulnerability. This is why so many men complain, I don't know what she wants, or she seems interested one moment, distant the next. It's not because she's confusing, they aren't paying attention. She's consistent in her signals. The problem is that most men are emotionally blind to them. A first hug is a quiet declaration of her willingness to connect, to trust, and even to test your emotional intelligence. When you respond correctly, she registers it instantly. She feels safe, noticed, and intrigued. When you respond incorrectly, she feels dismissed, unseen, or worse, boring. And once that first impression through physical cues is lost, it's almost impossible to recover the same intensity. Men, here's the truth that no one tells you. Attraction is less about words and more about perception. Your ability to notice, interpret, and respond to subtle emotional cues is what separates the average men from the men she remembers, desires, and feels drawn to. Your success, or failure, doesn't lie in what you say. It lies in what you feel and how you respond to what she isn't saying. The hug is the first puzzle piece. If you don't recognize it, you start every interaction behind the curve. But if you do, you immediately ascend to a place of emotional awareness that most men never reach. Now think about the last time a woman hugged you first. Did you see the message, or did you let it slip by unnoticed, treating it like it meant nothing? That single moment could reveal everything about your emotional radar, your sensitivity, and your capacity to respond to her unspoken desires. Most men miss this, not because she isn't giving them signals, but because they aren't trained to see them. Now that you understand what her first hug really means, the next step is far more important: your response. Most men don't realize that this is the moment where the dynamic of attraction is either cemented or destroyed. It's in the microseconds of your reaction that she decides unconsciously whether you are someone worthy of emotional investment or just another man who can't read the room. When she hugs you first, don't treat it like a routine greeting. Don't overthink it. Don't pat her back like you're slapping a coworker's shoulder. Instead, slow down, feel her energy, and match it. Notice the subtle cues. Does she press closer, tilt her head slightly, or linger just a heartbeat longer than necessary? Every detail is a clue, and your body communicates far more than your words ever could. A confident response isn't about overthinking. It's about feeling the moment, acknowledging it internally, and letting your physical presence reflect your awareness. Here's the first rule: maintain eye contact. Not a quick glance, not a nervous flicker. Eye contact is the silent amplifier of intimacy. When your eyes meet hers during the hug, it sends a subconscious signal. I see you. I understand the significance of this moment. Most men fail this because they are either looking away, checking their phone, or thinking about what to say next. Your eyes are more powerful than words. Let them speak on your behalf. Second, pay attention to the embrace itself. Don't hug her like a routine handshake. Match her energy. If she leans in gently, hold her close just enough to let her feel safety and warmth. If she hugs with intensity, you can mirror that intensity, but never overdo it. Too much pressure signals desperation or insecurity. The goal is subtlety. You are a mirror, reflecting her energy while amplifying a quiet confidence. Third, add a nuanced touch, something that feels natural and intentional. A hand lightly on her back, a small pause before you pull away, a gentle squeeze at the right moment. These micro-actions signal emotional awareness. They communicate more than words ever could. They tell her, without saying a word, that you are attuned to her signals and capable of responding in ways most men never will. Finally, don't rush to speak. Let the silence after the hug hang for just a heartbeat longer than usual. Silence after physical intimacy is powerful. It allows her subconscious to process the connection, to feel the tension, and to recognize that you are a man who is present, aware, and comfortable in the moment. Most men rush to fill the silence with small talk, humor, or meaningless chatter, killing the magic. Here's what happens when you do this correctly. She feels noticed, respected, and subtly attracted without even realizing why. Her mind begins to register you as someone rare, a man who can read her without words, who understands unspoken cues, and who responds with quiet confidence. This transforms a simple hug into a micro moment of deep psychological connection. She doesn't just remember the hug, she remembers you. Men, this is where the invisible barrier between just friends and someone she desires is crossed. The first hug she gives is your chance to stand out in her mind, to create a spark that lingers long after the physical contact ends. but only if you respond consciously, intentionally, and with subtle mastery. This is the difference between a man she forgets and a man she notices, and notices in ways that matter. By now, you should understand that a first hug isn't just a gesture, it's a message, a test, and a window into her subconscious all at once. But let me tell you the truth most men will never realize. How you respond to this single moment can shape the trajectory of every interaction you have with her afterward. This is where emotional intelligence meets attraction, and where subtle awareness turns an ordinary man into someone unforgettable. When a woman hugs you first, she's essentially asking, "Do you see me for who I am, and can you respond with the awareness and respect I deserve?" Most men fail this test because they are either distracted, arrogant, or untrained in female psychology. They miss the nuances, the tilt of her head, the weight of her pressure, the fleeting glance that lasts just a second longer than casual contact. She's revealing herself in a way that's rare and vulnerable, and your ability to recognize this sets you apart from 90% of men she encounters. Here's what she's really looking for: a man who is present in the moment, a man who doesn't rush, a man who reads her signals and mirrors them subtly yet confidently. This isn't about overthinking or playing games, it's about mastering the unspoken dynamics that govern attraction. Every micro action, eye contact, body posture, timing of the embrace, subtle pressure, speaks louder than words ever could. When you respond correctly, she experiences something rare: validation, comfort, and a spark of desire that most men never ignite. Let's take it one step further. If you consistently notice, respond, and respect these subtle cues, you build something far deeper than casual attraction. You build presence. Presence is magnetic. Presence is unforgettable. Presence is what keeps her thinking about you long after the hug ends. Men who fail here might get a laugh, a smile, or polite attention, but men who master this create a lasting imprint in her mind and her emotions. And that, my friend, is the true power hidden in a simple first hug. Now, the most important lesson: this isn't just about her or the hug itself. It's about your ability to elevate your awareness, to see signals where others see nothing, and to respond with the quiet confidence that women instinctively recognize. The men who succeed are not louder, not flashier. They are simply more aware, more present, and more emotionally attuned. And that's exactly what she is testing the moment she wraps her arms around you first. Before you leave this video, here's something I want you to do. Think back to the last time a woman hugged you first. Multiply the impact of that hug by your awareness of her signals. Now ask yourself this equation: how many times have I missed subtle signs that could have changed the entire dynamic? Comment your answer below. Be honest with yourself. If this video opened your eyes, hit like, subscribe, and share it with a friend who needs to hear this. Because most men will never notice what she's really saying in that first hug, but the ones who do, they become unforgettable. And that's exactly who you want to be.